Hey everyone, so I was asked to do another how to cover acne scar and also update on my skin. I just did a video, I posted a link about my skin. If you already haven't seen it, this is my skin without makeup, and I'm going to show you how to cover acne scarring. Now I know I have a video on it using Dermablend and use a couple other products, but this one is my updated one using more conventional products, more department store products, and that are really going to help covering acne scarring, not so much acne, because I don't really have so much texture on my skin, but I do have a lot of discoloration and pigmentation from my skin. So as you can see, I have a lot of acne scarring, and I'm going to show you how to cover this with just a few products you can get at your local department store, like Dillard's or Macy's, because these are all available products, or even to Sephora. So I'm using, before I do anything, I'm going to show you the products I use. So that's the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra, which is a great foundation. It lasts so long. It's a no retouch foundation. And then I'm using two concealers. This one is to cover the acne itself, which is this MAC Select Cover Up, and this is MAC Studio Finish for underneath the eyes. So I use two concealers, which is strange, but it really does help a lot, especially if you have two different types of covering that you want to conceal. You're going to need two different types of concealers because they do two different things. So let's get started and I'll show you how to do that. So before I apply anything to my face, like makeup or anything, I apply the Laura Mercier Secret Mattifier Primer. Now this says you can apply it after your foundation or before, but since I have such oily skin, I like to apply it before because it just gives my skin a nice base to work with. And it's a really clear texture, so all you need to do is just put a tiny bit amount and you just apply it to your skin. So I'm just going to put this in my T-zone area, which is my forehead, my chin, and then around my nose. Make sure I get right here and a little bit on my cheeks. And this stuff is really great if you have oily skin because it'll really mattify it. My skin got kind of pink because I've been rubbing it, but it's okay. So after that's done, okay, so I'm going to apply this. I've already told you what it is, so I'm going to apply it with a stippling brush. This is from Sigma. It's the equivalent to a 187 for MAC. It's a great foundation brush. So I'm going to shake it up a bit, and then I'm going to apply it to my middle finger. And all I do is just put it onto the places on my forehead. Right now I'm working on my forehead, so I'm just going to put it there. I'm just tapping it on with my finger. And then once I get my stippling brush, I stipple it on. Now if you had texture, you wouldn't really want to do this. Texture, by texture I mean like acne scarring. But since I don't really, I mean acne itself, but since I only have scarring, it's not really much texture, it's just discoloration. So I'm just going to stipple it on and then blend out. Make sure you get into your hairline. And then just do the same to the rest of your face. You're just going to do the same thing, just tapping it over the area. I like to concentrate it more on the areas that I have more scarring. So that would be like in this general area. Then I can zoom in a bit. And then I just stipple it on like I did before. And then I blend. Make sure you get your ears. So the foundation itself covers pretty well. Not very much like extreme coverage, but it does even out the skin tone. If you can see the difference between these both sides, this one looks a lot more even without any concealer. The foundation itself is a really great foundation that it evens out your skin tone pretty nicely, and the skin dries incredibly matte. So I'm just going to do the same thing to this side. So I just got this on this side, and I'm doing the same thing, stippling it on, and then blending. Okay, so now that you have your base on, your foundation, you're going to want to apply concealer. So as you can see, as you can tell before, if you want to rewind, my skin has really evened out, but just applying foundation. It's really matte. There's no oil to my skin. So next I'm going to apply the MAC Select Cover Up. This is an NC 30. NC30, and I love this concealer. It's one of my favorite concealers for acne. If you have acne or acne scarring, this is probably one of the best concealers you can use if it's not cosmetic acne, because MAC concealers, as you can know, can sometimes contain oil in them, but since this isn't, my acne wasn't really cosmetic related, it's fine for me, but you might want to check with your doctor if it's not. So I'm just applying it to the back of my hand, taking my ring finger because it has the lightest touch, getting a little bit, and then I'm going to start just patting this on. I like to use my fingers mainly because I find it easier to apply. A lot of people like to use brushes and stuff like that, but I feel like you can kind of get a good grip of your skin by just using your fingers. So that's what I like to do. You can do whatever you please, but I just feel like that this technique helps a lot better when you're applying this type of concealer because it dries so fast. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just tapping it over the places I have scarring. This is what you really want to use to cover. You don't really want to use too much of your foundation to cover anything. You want to rely on your concealers to do that. So I'm just tapping it over with my finger. This stuff dries really, really fast, so you want to be careful. I'm taking a tiny bit and just patting it along because I do have some scarring here. But this is some of the best concealer I've ever used for scarring. So I'm just doing the same thing. This is one of the most important parts, I believe, is because it's what really helps cover everything. And the reason why I use a cool shade is because cool shades cancel out the redness. That's the great thing about matte concealers, is that they let you choose what kind of thing you're covering. That's what I love about matte concealers. For instance, this one is a NW25. The W to cancel out the blueness and the C to cancel out the redness. So that's the whole trick to that. You can figure that out at all matte counters. So I'm just going to do my forehead and then I'll come back. And I forgot to mention, you want to do your nose. If you get red like me, just apply it around the area that you get red. But you just want to check and make sure everything's covered. And for me, this is pretty good. I'm just going to do a bit around the mouth. But if you haven't noticed, my scarring is completely covered. You can't see it whatsoever. Once I apply my blush and stuff, you won't even be able to notice it. So this proves to you how good this concealer is. So I'm just gonna do my eyes right now. Okay, so my concealer has covered everything. If you haven't noticed, my skin is incredibly clear now. So now that I just need to work underneath my eyes, I'm going to use the matte concealer in NW25. This is Studio Finish. This is good for covering blueness underneath your eyes. I have this really protruding vein, which is strange, I know, but I have one. So I'm just going to apply this right over it, using the same finger that I used before, my right hand side middle ring finger. So what I like to do for my concealer is take a bit on my finger, of course, and then work in a triangle action. So I work down and work sideways. This is the exact same motion that Kim Kardashian's makeup artist applies to her. That's why she has such glowy skin right here. So I like to do the same thing, and I'm just patting. The reason why I like using this finger, I think I've told you this before, is that it has the lightest touch. So it'll apply anything you're applying really, really lightly. So you're able to build that layer. So I just showed you how, look at the difference. This one looks 10 times more awake. And my vein has completely disappeared. So it just shows you how good this concealer is, that it can cover pretty much anything, even veins. So I'll be back and I'm going to just do this eye. Okay, so now that you applied all your base, if you want to rewind and go to the beginning of the video, it shows you how my skin was, and then now that I've covered everything with just using 3 products, 3 amazing products I should say, really helps with any kind of coverings, covers any imperfections. So now I'm just going to set all that. Since I have oily skin, I want to set my foundation, even though everything I use is matte. I have oily skin, so I need to. So I'm using the e.l.f. High Definition Powder. This is a really great, inexpensive powder. It's comparable to Makeup Forever's HD powder, except it's a quarter of the price, not even, probably even less, like a third of the price. It's so cheap. It's like $6 at eyelipsface.com. So I'm just going to use a powder brush and just apply that. Really, really simple. And it's so finely milled that it's a great product. I love it. It really helps set everything. So I'm just going to apply that. And when you're applying this, especially if you have texture that you're trying to cover, don't sweep around. Try to just pat. I hate when people, you work so much to build that coverage and then you just destroy it all when you're there sweeping around your powder. Make sure you're patting on your powder if you have any kind of texture on your skin. So that's basically it, guys. I just showed you how to cover everything. This is what I do every day when I apply my foundation. I do this every day for school, for work, anything, because those products are such amazing products. If you're not unsure what they were, I'll list them in the below bar so you can figure out, and I'll show you links to where to get them as well. You can also order all those online, so it's pretty easy if you can't go to a department store. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you understand how to do this really great, amazing foundation. You saw how imperfect my skin is and how I can turn it to look perfect. So I'm going to do a second part of this video on how I do my everyday makeup, just basic makeup that I do for work and school. So if you want to see that, I'll put a link somewhere here, maybe like up here, maybe next to Bob Marley. So I'll show you how to do that. So stay tuned if you want to do that for my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.